Hi everybody, it's Barry here again from Turning the Page, and welcome to another weekly blog or vlog or podcast or whatever you want to call it. It's so good to be here with you, and today's topic is when you find yourself in a dark hole, start digging. Now you often hear the words, if you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. Well, and that's true, which talks about making things worse. But I'm going to suggest that if you're in a dark hole, you actually need to start digging. And you see, this and many of my podcasts and blogs and blah blah are based out of my own real life experience, because I think if you're gonna talk, you need to speak lived truth. Truth that you have actually experienced, and so people can see that it's actually real for you. And so I had fallen into a hole, a very, very dark hole of depression, and it was like the sun didn't shine at all. And that's what a mental illness can be like, all-consuming, overwhelming, and like a blocking out of the reality that anything could possibly be different. That fog blank is like all-consuming, all around you. Yeah, I was in a hole, but I was not alone, because alongside me there were biblical characters like who had been in similar places. People like Elijah, Moses, David, Jonah, Jeremiah, Job, Naomi, Paul, Peter, Judas, just to name the ones that we know of some emotional struggle. Actually, you could probably throw Samson into that one too. Even Jesus struggled with his dark night of anguish, and in a time when the sun refused to shine. So he's been in that hole too. But God handed me a spade and encouraged me to start digging. Now, one of the most interesting observations I've made from blogging and I suppose doing talks and all that sort of thing, for many years now, is that there are a number of people that I would call anonymous hole dwellers. Like they know they are struggling, they want help, but they don't want others to know about it. It's kind of a privacy thing. They think that I'll solve this myself, I'll DIY, do it myself, or yourself, and there is a fear, and actually probably a valid fear in a lot of ways, of what others will think and how they will react. So they reach out on the internet, type a few words into Google, such as "God, I want to die," which is my most read post, and they type in their pain-filled questions, see a page here or two on Turning the Page, spend some time reading, and then they're gone. Or some of them might sign up and become an email subscriber, which I'd encourage you to do if you haven't done already. But they remain anonymous, unknown. And I so want to give them a spade and encourage them to dig. And perhaps Turning the Page can offer a few footholds for their journey up and out. To me, a spade represents hard manual labour. And I've used a spade many, many, many times in my gardening and farming and horticulture careers. In fact, I actually think I own about 6 of them. Each of them are slightly different and suited for various tasks. Look, I have dug so many holes and drains that I know the feel of a good spade. And I know that it's dirty work. There's sweat, mud, and you get tired muscles. You cut the turf, you push the steel into the soil, and you wedge that bit of dirt out. And then you do it again and again and again and again. And over time, you make progress. You gain a sense of satisfaction at the progress you've made. It's tangible and real. Look, I don't know anybody who actually gets excited about digging. Some people might, but if you've done a lot of it, you're like, oh, that's hard work. Yeah, but it's much like this quote about opportunity. The reason most people do not recognize an opportunity when they meet it is because it is usually usually goes around wearing overalls and looking like hard work. And that's from Thomas Edison, or maybe from someone else. I'm not too sure. Look, most people I have found don't want to wear overalls and pick up the spade and do the work. Some people have become so used to their holes that they have made it their home, decorating the walls with internalized victim stories and other things. Um, they live like in an echo chamber of past events, critical voices keeping them from looking up and out. But let's go back to that dark hole. So you're at the base of that dark hole, and the only way out is actually up. So a spade is in your hand, and you have dug, you grasp that spade and you start to chip away at the walls of the hole. And after a little while, you have dug out a small hole big enough to put your foot in. And then you dig another hole in the wall, and you put your hand up and you grasp it. And you do this over and over and over again until you have sort of either dug a ladder out and you start to climb. You climb a little and you dig a little, and dirt is filling in the hole under you. You are sensing the light coming down and filling the senses, and hope is starting to rise up in you. You dig a millimetre more, and that's what these little steps are. They're only a millimetre, very, very achievable little things you do on a regular basis. Look, you slip every now and again, but because it's your hole and it's you that's doing the digging, you progress on. And with every successful little notch made and a little bit of elevation gained, something is actually changing in your brain. The electrical pathways are becoming more positive. They're changing away from the old ways of thinking, and you're changing into new ways and better ways of thinking. And in fact, the way you used to think actually becomes like a distant memory. And there is a new you that is emerging, stronger, deeper, and more centered. There is a resilience to your nature, so that when the winds and storms of life blow, and they always will, you don't buckle. You bend and you move with the flow. Look, I like to think of digging out of a hole is a millimetre ministry. It's maybe even smaller than millimetres. It's micrometre ministry. It's small enough to make it feasible and highly achievable. So what are some millimetres, or what are some footholds? How about this? Reading your thinking compass every day. So this is like a little tool that I like to have, and these are thoughts and affirmations and beliefs that I want to put into my brain and tell myself the truth. Do that every day. Taking medication, if prescribed, every day. It's another little millimetre that's going to help you. Doing something nice for you every day. All right? Self-care. It's good. Going to bed at a regular time every day. Meditating on some Bible verses every day. Getting quite pragmatic about the pressures that are bearing down on you. So like looking at the problems and saying, okay, what can I actually do? And finding some help through problem solving to actually address those things that are causing you stress. Exercising a little every day. Going for a walk. Going for a swim. Learning to breathe and doing some good exercising every day. Nurturing the beautiful and meaningful in your everyday life. So what does that mean? It means taking time to smell the roses, if you've got roses or flowers, but just enjoying with a full mindfulness awareness of something really good and positive in your life. Look, it's an everyday rhythm of digging a little bit each day. Habits and patterns and practices changing your life. Look, I'm not going to rescue you from your hole, but I do want to cheer you on the progress and offer suggestions, and that's what Turning the Page does. And I've noticed that rescuers and quick fix merchants often have a need in themselves that they want to fulfill. Instead, I want to encourage that millimetre turning into a centimetre. Look, I've got a hole of my own. I struggle with depression. It's my responsibility. You can cheer me on and fuel my heart with whispers of courage, but it's my hole and my responsibility, and I'm going to keep on chipping away at that wall of my hole. In my book, Broken to Built, which is a pay what you like book, you can buy it for whatever price you want, and you can come over onto the blog post and find out a bit more about it. I reflect on how Jerusalem's wall, at one stage, which was a complete mess, a rubble heap, but they rebuilt it. This is the people of Jerusalem rebuilt it after this devastating destruction with and next to them attitude. So people building alongside each other, encouraging each other, working together on this project of rebuilding the wall. You see, there's an awareness of others next to us in our rebuilding and digging. And I hope Turning the Page is a place where you can sense that there are other people that are working on the same stuff as you are. It's hard, it's dirty, and it's often thankless work, but there is a beauty and a wonder at the progress that's made when the digger is focused and alive. And I celebrate you for making those little millimetre footholds and toe holes and clasps before you put your hand in to dig yourself out of that hole. You see, when you're in a dark hole, I'll repeat this again, when you're in a dark hole, it can feel like there is a loss of hope. But I'm telling you, you can dig yourself out with some wisdom and encouragement. Here's some quotes for you to consider. Only a secure person can empower others. Those who have to remain in control can never let go long enough to allow others to make mistakes and learn from them. That's David Riddell. Rick Hansen. And I think this quote, if I remember when he said it, it was something that his dad said. So, yeah. Nothing digs ditches like shovelfuls of dirt. Nothing digs ditches like shovelfuls of dirt. So true. You got to do the work. Richard Rohr, he says, metanoia, or change of consciousness, all right, can only come with time. Patience is the very shape of love. I love that. Patience is the very shape of love. Without it, religion is merely about enforcing laws and requirements. Beautiful. David Riddell says that every rescuer needs to know that sometimes people will need to feel worse before they can feel better. Here's a couple of questions for you. What does your hole look like? Okay, what does it look like? Can you describe it? Number two, what is a millimetre foothold that you can dig today? It might be a clasp hole, but it's just a millimetre, a little thing, just to do that's a step in progress. And number three, why do some people like to decorate their holes and make them their homes? That too. I suppose we all do some ways. But why? All right. Hey, I hope you found this helpful, and I always love to hear from my readers and viewers and listeners. Barry at turningthepage.co.nz if you want to send me an email. And I just really want to also thank you if you are a supporter of mine financially. Really important that I have funders that can pay for things like the website and the costs associated with running this ministry. And if you'd like to learn more about how to do that, it can be just as simple as $1 a month. $1 a month. Come over to turningthepage.co.nz/support, and you'll find lots of ways in which you can support me and what we're doing here, and really helping people dig their way out of their holes. Hey, thanks very much. And if you'd like to subscribe on the podcast or subscribe via YouTube, that would be fantastic too. And I look forward to talking to you next week. And keep on digging. Okay, thanks. Bye.